Row 26 is going to be 1 blue box, 8 white boxes, and 1 blue box. There's row 26 with 1 blue box, 8 white boxes, and 1 blue box. Row 27 is going to be 1 blue box, 7 white boxes, and 1 blue box. There's row 27, 1 blue box, 7 white boxes, and 1 blue box. Row 28 is going to be 1 blue box, 6 white boxes, and 1 blue box. There's row 28. We had 1 blue box, 6 white boxes, and 1 blue box. Row 29 is going to be 1 blue box, 5 white boxes, and 1 blue box. And there's row 29. We had 1 blue box, 5 white boxes, and 1 blue box. Row 30 is going to be 1 blue box, 4 white boxes, and 1 blue box. And there's the end of row 30. 1 blue box, 4 white boxes, and 1 blue box. The remaining rows are going to be just worked in blue, so we'll continue using the blue that we have on our hook right now. I'm going to flip it over to the wrong side, and I'm going to fasten off the white and the other blue strand. Then I'm going to untangle, and I'll be back for row 31. For rows 31 through 35, we're going to work just in this blue color. At the end of each row, you will decrease by 1 box. So row 31 is going to have 5 boxes, and when you end row 35, you'll have 1 box. There's my finished letter. The rectangle is now complete. So I just pulled up a big loop so I could show you. This is the wrong side, so we're going to be chaining one and turning to the right side anyway, which is this pretty side that doesn't have any tails on it. There is our giant letter A. Turn this back around. I'm going to reinsert my hook here, pull the loop back down to normal tension, and then I'll chain one and turn. I'm going to insert a clip here from when I did the letter U that is going to show the rows for the border and how to add the dowel, as well as how to weave in your ends. We're going to work our border from the right side, which is the pretty side facing us that does not have any of the ends on it. Those are on our wrong side. My border is going to have 2 rows all the way around. One is just the foundation. The second one is an even round of single crochet stitches. You can work as little or as many rounds as you want. For my wall hanging, it's just going to have those 2 rounds, and then the rest is going to be building an eyelet row on the top where my dowel is going to go in. Our first stitch is going to be worked into this space underneath where our crochet hook currently is. It is where we just slip stitched to. Right into that space, I'm going to insert my hook and work a single crochet. So I'll insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Then I'm going to chain 2, and in the corner, the last stitch, the top of the last stitch of this next box, I'm going to work another single crochet. In my original pattern, I do not chain 1 and add an extra stitch in here. But since I've worked a couple other corner to corner projects, I like the way that it looks, so I'm going to try it out in this wall hanging. So if you're looking at the original pattern, or if you purchased it previously, you will see that it does not have these extra stitches, but I'm going to add them here just so I can see what it looks like. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'll insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. The original pattern just has 1 stitch worked in here and then a chain and a single crochet, and it makes those corners kind of tight, and I want it to lay a little bit flatter, so that's why I'm adding this increase in here. I'm going to rotate my fabric so I can work down the side. Then I'll chain 2, and into the space in between those next 2 boxes, I'm going to work a single crochet. And this is going to be the repeat all the way down, chain 2. In the next space in between the boxes, single crochet, chain 2. In the next space in between boxes, single crochet. Continue all the way down the side. And now I've reached the end of that side. I'm going to chain 2. I've worked my last single crochet in between those 2 boxes. Chain 2, and in the corner stitch, I'm going to work it just like I did the other side. I'm going to work a single crochet in there. Chain 1, single crochet into the same exact stitch to increase on that corner, and then we'll rotate our fabric so we work along the bottom. And it's going to be the exact same way that we just worked. Chain 2, single crochet into that space in between those boxes. Chain 2, single crochet into that space in between those next two boxes. Continue with a chain 2, single crochet all the way across. Once you get to the end, you'll single crochet, chain 1, single crochet into that corner. Then you'll rotate to work up the side. Work all the way up the side. Single crochet, chain 2 into that top corner. Rotate to work along the top all the way until we get back to the beginning, and then I will show you how to join, and then we'll go into round 2. This is my last single crochet of the round. Chain 2. Then I'm going to insert my hook into that very first single crochet that I worked and complete a slip stitch. And that finalizes round 1 of the border. Row 2 of the border is just going to be even single crochet all the way around. I'm going to start with a chain 1. And I'll insert my hook into the very first stitch and complete a single crochet. In the next chain 2 space, I'm going to work 2 single crochets, inserting my hook right into the space itself and working over the chain. Then I'll work a single crochet in the next single crochet of the corner, and into the chain 1 space of the corner, I'm going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then I'll rotate my fabric so I can work down the side. And in the next single crochet of the corner, I'm going to work a single crochet. And this increase is going to help our piece lay flat, and it's going to have a slightly pointed edge. I'm going to continue working down. In each chain 2 space, I'm going to work 2 single crochets. And in each single crochet that's in between the boxes, I'm going to work a single crochet all the way down to the next corner. Here's my last chain 2 space of the side here. I'm going to work 2 single crochets. Then I'll single crochet into the next single crochet of the corner. In the chain 1 space, I'm going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into that same chain space. Then I'll rotate my fabric, working down the side now, single crochet into the next single crochet of the corner, and then proceed in pattern again, working 2 single crochets per chain 2 space and 1 single crochet per single crochet in between the boxes. Once you get all the way across, here in the corner you'll also work a single crochet, chain 2 single crochet, work up the side. Try not to lose my crochet hook over here. All the way up the side. In the next corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then work across the front until we get back to the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and work mine off camera, and then I'll be back to you when we are ready to join. Here's my last chain 2 space. I'm going to work 2 single crochets in there as normal. Then I'll insert my hook into the very first single crochet of the round and complete a slip stitch. And there's the second round of our border. If you wanted a bigger rectangle, you could work an additional round of the border, or in place of the single crochet that was just worked, you could do half double crochets or double crochet stitches, and it will also add width and height. But I'm going to go ahead and fasten off here. We do have a couple more rows to add, but they're going to be just across the top, not rounds worked around the piece. Then I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch I slip stitch joined from the back through to the front and just pull that tail end through. So the side that is facing us that does not have any of the ends on it, that is the right side. This is the side that we want to be facing. We're going to go over here to the top right corner. Because I've added some stitches on the corners in the first round, it added extra stitches to the total. So I'm changing this as well. So if you're looking at the written pattern and you happen to see it written differently, it's because it had less stitches before, and now since I've added more, I have to alternate it. So here's the chain 2 from the right corner. In the very first single crochet to the left, I'm going to attach my yarn. And I'm going to show you how I do that. You can attach it using whatever method you prefer. I'm just going to insert my hook into that stitch. Then I'll grab my tail end. This is from the ball that I just fastened off. And I'm going to pull a tail through. Then I want a tail end long enough that I can weave in. I'm going to just create a simple knot here. One time, that's it. Then I'll insert my hook into that same stitch, yarn over and pull through. I have a loop on my hook right now. Then I'm ready to begin. I want to start here with a chain of 5. This chain is going to count as our very first double crochet and a chain 3. I'm going to go ahead and yarn over because I'll be double crocheting, and I'll skip the next 3 stitches and double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 3, yarn over, skip the next 3 single crochets, double crochet into the next stitch. Chain 3, yarn over, skip the next 3 single crochets, double crochet into the next stitch. And I'm going to continue working across the top here. Here I've come to the spot where I joined, and it looks like there's 2 stitches there, an extra stitch here, and this is the first stitch. I'm going to go ahead and use this space that's created with the slip stitch to my advantage here, and I'm going to count it as a stitch. So here's 1, 2, 3 stitches I'm skipping, the third one being that slip stitch, and then I'm going to double crochet into the next stitch. Usually it's not counted as a stitch, but it creates a space here that's even to the rest of it, and I really need that extra space for this eyelet row, so I'm going to go ahead and take advantage. Then I'll work my final chain 3, yarn over, skip 3 stitches, and double crochet into the single crochet from the corner stitch here on the left. And there's row 3, which is our eyelet row. This is where your dowel is going to go into. Row 4 is just the chain that you're going to hang it from. To keep the ends flat and from caving in on the dowel, I'm going to create a loop on both ends that is going to just slip on to the dowel when we thread it, but it's going to hold it enough so that it keeps its shape. You can alter the size of this loop depending on how thick or thin your dowel is. To fit my dowel, a chain of 8 is best, so I'm going to go ahead and do that chain 8. Then I'm going to turn my work and slip stitch join into the same stitch as that first stitch where my chain is coming out of. So I have this loop now here on the right. Then I'm going to make the chain that I'm going to use to hang this from. For mine, I'm going to do a chain 60. You can add more or take away to better fit the area where you're going to hang it from. There's my chain 60. I tried to add some more. But anyway, my chain is coming out here on the right side. I want to try to just lay it out so that it's not twisted all the way across. And over here on the left side, this is where we attached our yarn. And if you remember, I said it counts as our first double crochet and chain 3. So from the bottom, I'm going to count 1, 2 chains. That would be the top of our double crochet. And I'm going to slip stitch into that chain. Then I'm going to create the loop that goes here on the left by chaining 8. And slip stitching back into that same exact chain that's the top of our double crochet there. Before we fasten off, I recommend that you thread your dowel in here and you try it out with these loops to see how it hangs from wherever you're going to hang it. It's much easier to take it apart and redo it if you need to now before you fasten off. Otherwise you might have to add more on, and when you're working with chains it's a little bit more difficult. But I know that mine fits, so I'm going to go ahead and fasten off now. And I'll pull up on that last loop to break it. This is the wrong side that's facing me, so I'm going to go here to that very last stitch where I slip stitched, yarn over it, and pull the yarn through so that it's on the wrong side. And I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to show you how it looks when I thread it through my dowel. Over here's the loop on the right. I'm just going to pick it up and thread from right to left. Then I'll insert into the first chain space, out of the next, into the next, out of the next, all the way down. And then from right to left in that last loop. And then make it even on your dowel. And you're ready to hang it here from wherever you're going to hang it. I have a nail on my wall. That's where I hang mine. You could do it on a command hook or a push pin or a wreath hanger, wherever you're going to hang it from. And here it is. These loops are going to make a huge difference. They're going to make it so that this fabric here does not cave in on itself. Now we'll weave in our ends and we'll be finished with this wall hanging. Weaving ends in is very simple. I went ahead and threaded a tail end through my tapestry needle. This one is a blue one. I'm gonna just tighten it a little bit and then I'm going to weave it in vertically here into the box that's just next to where my tail end is coming out of. When I weave in my ends, I do not pick up the whole entire stitch on my needle like this. I always insert my needle into the center of the stitch, breaking it in half. Then I will follow through under several stitches and I will come out of the center of a stitch up here, breaking it in half as well. This is going to help capture my yarn better. I'm just pulling on it to make sure it's secure, and you can manipulate the fabric with your fingers to make sure it's laying flat the way you want. I always do 3 passes, so now I'm going to insert into a nearby stitch, breaking it in half, work downward through the same stitches I just worked into, breaking my stitch in half when I come out. I do this every single time and pull it through. 3 passes is my magic number. If you feel comfortable after 2, you can stop. If you don't feel comfortable enough, work a 4th pass. Here I'm just going to wrap my needle around this stitch and come back through in the center. And that's my 3rd pass. Pull it snug and fasten off. You'll do that with all of your stitches here. This white one will just be weaved in into this box right here. Over here, the same exact thing. When it comes to the bottom stitch, this is my very first stitch. I'm just gonna trim it because it's a little wild there on the end. And I'll thread it through my tapestry needle and I'm going to weave it in vertically there on the border. Hide it in the bulk of the single crochet border. I'll do 3 passes for that one. And up here where I attached my yarn and I slip stitch joined my final one, I'm going to hide my tail ends also in the bulk of the single crochet border. But if you need to, you could also come downward and into this box in the corner. I'm going to go ahead and weave in all my ends off camera. Guys, thanks so much for watching my video. You'll find the free crochet pattern at iloveknots.com, also linked in the description below. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.